Julio's toughest task yet.
Yeah, Julio definitely is going through the ringer in the solo lane, but that's just how solo lane is, because it feels like this is one of the strongest roles we currently have in the SPL. Everyone ends up playing to a really high level, and Julio went up against the guy who I think is doing the best so far, but Nika's going to prove that maybe he should be in that conversation. First blood for the Oni Warriors and a solo kill for Nika on that King Arthur.
Yeah, it's on me. He played fine okay yesterday, Julio did. So two back-to-back tough matchups, but there's engage over here in the duo lane. Neilma pulled right back in. The Riptide out to safety, but a blink from Panatom closes the gap, and the Leviathans swiftly answer back with a kill of their own here in the duo lane.
And right on time, because look at Neil's beads.
Julio has to ult out to get beneath his tier 1 tower. Nika has reached the point in the game where he's feeling comfortable enough taking these trades up against Julio. Got the tank boots online, plenty of conversation around that item, but still strong, still worth picking up on this pick, and Julio just cannot play in this lane right now, Aggro. I don't think he can step up to farm. One flurry of abilities here from Nika could be another kill.
He's going to get a big heal off right here, but Nika knows that that's exactly what Julio's going for.
Attempting to steal this buff away. Shinto sending through the damage. Red buff dropped down. Red buff picked up. Successful on the buff invade there for the Leviathans.
And Vote trades ultimates with Yarkor. I suppose I should say that the other way around. It was Vote with the initiation, but Vote now steps too far forward and doesn't end up dying, but does lose his purification beads. Nice little quick turnaround at the end to make sure that Moonlit charge didn't knock him out.
That's right, so Vote now able to stay alive. You're safe on this Jingwei, but
research is up. Hit has a couple options to go to. Even though Votes is coming up, he doesn't have his ultimate for a while, which means Yarkor, with his ultimate, can likely be aggressive in that left-hand side.
Well, wrong, you first use of the dropship there. Look at this. Vote stunned against the wall. It's a solo kill. Yarkor. This has been a guy who's happy to take these 1v1s against almost anyone. I'll hold my thought on that as there's now a re-engage over here in solo lane as Nika gets ulted on as well.
They have experience in that regard, then it removes some of the weakness of these styles of composition. So if the Leviathans can continue on this trend of playing a little bit more early pressure and executing on those draft picks, it's going to bode well for this team.
Look at this, Oni Warriors feeling comfortable enough to pull the Pyro. The Leviathans have sent a few members on over to the left side, so at what cost do the Oni Warriors get this Pyromancer? Vote airstrikes out, Desert Fury ticks for a couple bits of damage there. Vote trying to sidestep the CC, but there's just way too much, and Wrongyu snags the kill. Vote has not been allowed to play this game. It was a 1v1 with Yarkor a minute ago, and now it's a 3v1. No chance Vote wins that. The bead's still down. Airstrike gets behind Yarkor on the other side. One level behind as well as the fight breaks out. Cubo Fred, first action we've seen from the Osiris so far this game. Just shy on the slow on the Panatom, and Neilma won't connect with the stun either. Now Yarkor rotates over from the duo lane, lets the Desert Fury fly, but the Desert Fury doesn't get anything. Neil has to use the beads, and Julio in one swift strike takes down Neilma alongside the rest of the Leviathans, and that's maybe all the blue side's looking for.
Way goes Vote with that airstrike. I mean, it was such a great idea that the
Maker, only the one tier in the Wind Demon separates him in the items department. Julio and Darda's alone in the back line. Panatom is down just a bit of HP here. And the Leviathan's playing this one slow, looking for an engage. Is it on Nika? For the time being, it is. Gravity Surge pulls the King Arthur back in, and the King Arthur cannot play. Now Cubo Fred, with Lord of the Afterlife, jumps into the Leviathan snake pit, but Vote able to turn around a kill here. Shinto decimates down Cubo Fred with a bit of damage, and the chase continues for the Leviathans.
Ooh, an up-down coming from Dardaz, really getting into that solo lane mentality, but too little, too late from him. It's a double kill from Shinto. And the Leviathans just understand the pacing of their team fights really well with this style of composition. They do exactly to Nika what they did to Neil on the left-hand side for their first kill of the game. Nika's beads were down for 5 seconds, whatever composition wants to do, and then are executing on it. You think it's a given, but even at this level, sometimes it isn't.
No, and I think now a good time to reiterate a point you made earlier. I think gone are the days where we can only we'll return back to that as Yarkor takes a 2v1 here, nearly gets it. The up-down counters out. Cubo Fred, is he going to do it? No! Vote gets the last bit of damage, but Yarkor nearly gets a kill in that 2v1. Leviathans are going to take the chance to go over towards that Pyromancer, extend this gold lead to
them, but We'll see if it can continue as a change for Dardes into that on her. That Changeling ultimate gets used, and it does force the blink from Panatom at the very least, but not a whole lot else.
Nika blinks through, finds the stun onto Panatom, but it's an immediate knock-up. And Nika slashes Panatom down for a quick return kill now for the Oni Warriors. Neoma, with just a bit of insurance, will throw up the River's Rebuke. And the Oni Warriors able to get one back onto Panatom, so the Awilix off to a roll.
Gets his ultimate as well, but at least Panatom holds on to the beads for the time being. With that rotation from Nika, he actually goes back to the right-hand side. I thought he might stick around, knowing if they were going to try and play aggressive, but they're looking for Yarkor again.
Yarkor getting dove now, and now it's the On-Her who doesn't get much of a chance to play. We've seen this against Vote through a large part of this game, but now it's happening to the Leviathans. Dardes being identified now by Shinto. There's some up-down for you, and now Shinto on a killing spree. You thought this King Arthur was off to a great player damage lead after what Nika did over there in the solo lane. Now we're 18.5 minutes in, and Shinto is caught up.
Not one of those gods that you can fight once she gets ahead. Once she's at that point, you just have to accept the L.
Yeah, Shinto and Tiamat both there. Nika uses his beads in a bit of a 2v1 here. No assistance from either team, though Shinto slowly rotating in over from the mid lane. So one way or another, Nika goes down here. And it looks like might be Shinto on the rotation. That's maybe worst case scenario now for the Oni Warriors, because with that kill, Shinto ticks over to level 20, full 5 levels ahead of Dardes. We're 19.5 minutes into the game, but Cubo Fred under a little bit of pressure now from Rongyu. Yarkor, of course he's going to go for the up-down. The Desert Fury doesn't connect for all of the damage, but Cubo Fred out of the fight. Julio wants more, and he'll force the blink from the Osiris.
Fred has just been ineffective so far in this game. Single pick has not looked great yet, but this is where the Oni Warriors have to respond. The Leviathan's feeling good enough to pull fire.
Oh man, Vote just left alone here. Had to use the beads after an impale from Yarkor. Caught him against the wall, and then the airstrike defensively. Just seeming a bit caught out, a bit out of sorts here are the Warriors. Neil now left alone over in solo. The River's Rebuke buys just a bit of time, but Yarkor gets that one. Now we extend to a 5-kill lead. Dardes has been lurking in behind. Still a 4-level deficit on your mic, but Dardes can't join the party just yet.
He's still only level 16 when he does. I wonder who his transformation target's going to be. Maybe even transforming into Shinto and just using the stats that he's accumulated so far.
Whoa, wrong you. Maybe pulling Yarkor back into the fight here. Cubo Fred deleted. I didn't see what happened there because it all happened so fast. Now Vote is going to get stunned down. It's this like pump fake of a play style the Leviathans are going for. Yeah, we're going to pull the fire, I promise. And then somebody from the Warrior steps up, and then Rongyu re-engages, and then they go back. I swear we're going to do it this time. And then they step back.
The Leviathans are so much stronger that there's no reason to be hesitant here.
Remember, it was a 5-level difference for Dardes, now level 19 on the Morgan. The item difference is mainly the big one there in the mid lane. Vote's going to have to be big here for the Oni Warriors. Julio running away from the rest of this fight and leaps away. Neoma sends up the River's Rebuke as well as the Leviathans. A bit of a disengage. Cubo Fred on the opposite side was targeted there. And aggro, one more wash here. Julio uses his ult. Cubo Fred, Neoma do the same. Beat on the target. Cubo Fred close by. Neoma closes that gap down as well. And Julio down to half. Dardes transformed into the tier and into the pit he goes, but Dardes melting away as Shinto leaps in, as you expect the Tiamat to do, and a little bit of damage cleaves on through, but the Leviathan's aggro looking lower.
Dardes low, Vote low, but as you said, it's the Leviathans who come out a little bit weaker because of the sustain from the Emoja. And look, the Leviathans, every time that these clashes happen, what makes these feel so scary in these moments in my mind is that they've had a lot of these opportunities, but their unwillingness to push forward with them makes me a little bit nervous.
Now level 20 reached by a couple more members of the Oni Warriors. Big burst of damage finds Neoma, the Emoja, just a bit overextended, and the Leviathans make the Oni Warriors pay. Immediately over to the FG. The Leviathans may be feeling like this is the advantage they need to start up the bill. Just a second until Neoma can rejoin the fight. So full stacked at 5v5 now. Down the right side go the Atlantis Leviathans. Waves and Tiamat minions are in, but so is Rongyu. Finds a stun onto Cubo Fred. Julio up down, but he's alone with the rest of the Oni Warriors as the solo laner made a mistake. For the time being, yes, but on the other end, Shinto is able to delete Dardes with a quick volley of damage out of this team out. Into the backline, he goes as well. Cubo Fred's got a few chained up, but Yarkor with a massive impale back keeps the stun off of them, and the Leviathans lose one, but they get one in tow.
Man, it looked like it was going to be much worse for the Leviathans in that fight, but Shinto salvages it by one tap.
Dardes combined for a big burst of damage onto the Leviathan's frontliner. Instead, it's the Pyromancer now being looked at. The Oni Warrior suddenly feeling a little bit more confident, but Nika will eat half of his HP and damage as well. It's a pullback in. It's Dardes who gets pulled back towards Panatom, and look at the up-down from Julio here, cleaving damage on through, but the tier has to leave. Nika will not find the kill. Instead, Yarkor does on the backline. Cubo Fred goes down.
And Nika might be left to the wolves. Blink back from Julio. No fear from that man at all. Dardes lurking in the back line, gets Panatom, but Julio still alive, and the Oni Warriors Titan is in trouble.
And it looks like the Leviathans, with one more kill, and they might not need any more, could walk down the mid lane here. A fire wave just caught up on the left side minions. Neoma doing his best to buy some time with the Riptide. Sends him face planting into the pillar. It's a deicide 35 minutes in, and that'll be game one to the Atlantis Leviathans.
The Warriors did an honorable job of hanging on. They made that game difficult for the Leviathans when it looked for a while like it wouldn't be at all, but ultimately just too little too late. I think that Dardes did his most work by far in that fight by transforming into the Tiamat that has been just demolishing them throughout the course of that game. Fred really felt unimpactful on that Osiris jungle in this game. We did
this time Nika on the Sun Wukong, and I think enough has been said about the synergy that pick holds with the Bluestone, the ability to lane bully so strong. Vote feeling a little pressure here. Yarkor aggressive, stun down on the backside will connect onto Vote. Early beads, but Neil in on the pluck, and then immediate beads from Wrong. You had to get that right in the moment, or else the Umoja is headed right into tower range there. And somehow everyone survives here in duo.
Neil continues to chase.
So it's time to spot out some engages. This is the point in the game where you need this Fenrir to start to get a little more active, but maybe it's Panatom who finds the opening gank here. It's level 5 for the Susano. Vote is pulled back in.
Too early.
But then uses, Panatom, it's a beautiful play. He follows Vote through the crystal, and down goes the Heimdall. Unreal from the Leviathan's jungler.
Just too early from Vote. He's got to know that jet stream is on him and that he's tagged.
There were some good stats there from Season 7. I think he said Panatom picked this god 20 times over the course of the year. 13 out of those 20 games were wins, so Panatom has definitely proven his record on this pick. Now Cubo Fred and Nika getting aggressive over by the blue buff, but Panatom again lands the teleport onto Cubo Fred, who will escape here, but Nika's still getting aggressive onto Julio. Could be a kill in the backline. Shinto rotates for mid and picks up one, but now it's Dardes trying to sidestep the damage. No chance here unless Neilma has saved the day, and he hasn't, and Rongyu will add another. It's a 2v1 trade. Leviathan's ahead.
Rongyu is so sick at this god, dude. He is so good at Umoja. How felt like they were. There isn't a massive lead for them. I mean, this lead is now non-existent, actually, at least in gold.
It was 1,000 for a little while there, and no more. It's a River's Rebuke now from Rongyu. Cubo Fred actually gets riptided back a couple of times. Could that spell death? Not for the Fenrir, of course it does. How did the Leviathans ever miss that kill? And Cubo Fred makes the mistake of walking on the map anywhere near the Leviathans here. Rongyu hits the shots, so does Panatom. 3 ultimates used, but the Leviathans get a little of that gold, a little of that momentum back in their corner.
That's just unfair, what Rongyu did to Fred right there. He puts the Riptide down for the Unchained, gets interrupted. Then he brutalizes away and gets Riptided again. And now Neil is going to be caught because he doesn't have a blink because he got caught by Rongyu on the Umoja earlier on and forced it out. Ronnie's just looking too strong.
Panatom had just like an item and a half, maybe, counting his boots in his back pocket, and it felt like Vote didn't stand any chance there, so it's just going to get worse, and we'll see if Panatom can flex that strength a little bit here. Dardes takes the red buff, blink through. Panatom gets beads out on the engage, but closes that gap well. Typhoon flies through, and who cares if Dardes hits everything? Panatom wins that engagement, has to use beads and blink. He might still survive, and Panatom's out alive.
Cubo's here and on top of Rongyu and doing no damage at all. In fact, Rongyu is the one winning the trade up against the jungler. Sunder sends him away because he would have lost that fight.
Wow, and now it's a purple buff for the Leviathans. Vote close by, but this is a 2v1. Neil
gunning themselves around the map the last 3 matches. You know, it was game 2 up against the Dragons where they were doing it. Last game they did it, and now they're doing it again. This time on picks that don't necessarily synergize for free, but because why not when you're doing things like this?
A couple body blocks land onto Neilma, and the lurking in the waters will keep him alive as Wrongyu sent the stuns flying. It's Dardes considering a rotation to the left side of the map on this Discordia, but he'll stick over towards mid alongside Q. Warming up on this Fenrir pick, it's the targets later on that are really going to matter here for the Oni Warriors. Shinto in particular is going to be a problem alongside Panatom. Julio finds an engage onto Neilma, and then the follow-up stun from Wrongyu forces Neil into the ultimate. Nika
not that way.
Is here to stay. In the River's Rebuke he goes, and Shinto will pick up the kill onto the Sobuk. Up and over and out goes Nika, but it looks like the Leviathans have got what they came for, though a little more chase happening. The Riptide sends a few in. But it's a double stun from Cuvo Fred. Panatom brutalized down by Cuvo Fred, and finally a kill on the board for the Fenrir. Make it 2. Cuvo's got a double.
That's exactly what the doctor ordered for the Oni Warriors. They get caught, and it was really just the Leviathans getting way too greedy.
Wow, Julio and Shinto are here immediately. Yarkor looking towards the Oni Fury. It's going to be a steal or nothing now for the Leviathans, and they will steal it away. The Atlantis Leviathans get the big objective, and Julio might make it out alive as well. Could turn around the damage onto Cuvo Fred. It's a conduit gem proc from Shinto that ends up getting the objective. Oh, and Oni Fury as well on the left-hand side. To go, please, for the Leviathans.
Just no secure here for the Oni Warriors. It's not...
The Oni Warriors can breathe. As a tier 2 tower being looked at, Oni Warriors may be feeling confident enough aggro in defending their tier 2 on the left side, though maybe you just show some face and back away when the trying gets tough. But that's not what Neil wants, and instead Neil finds his way into the River's Rebuke. How many times have we seen this play out? And Neil will go down, and it's Wrongyu who grabs the kill. Vote sends one flying with his ultimate here. Apple connects onto Shinto in the backline, and an Aegis will keep the Raijin up in this fight for a little while. Nika in onto Panatom, and the Sun Wukong nets a kill.
And they needed that. Nika not done either. He's going to keep on going. No blink for him, but he doesn't need it. Closes the gap onto Julio. The matter...
Back towards the Oni Warriors. Vote does not have any of his relics available, so if Wrongyu lands a stun, there's going to be swift follow-up here from the rest of the Leviathans. Cuvo, Fred, and Nika alone on the backline here. Now it's Nika that gets engaged upon it. How about that damage from Shinto, huh? Nika, not feeling comfortable with the way things are, will bull his way out of this fight, but the DOT from the MID of the Leviathans gets the kill. Julio with another, and these slow individual picks making the Oni Warriors pay.
One by one, the Ants go marching in, and one by one, they get squished by the Atlantis Leviathans. 4 dead now.
Tier 2!
Looking to make it a deicide. Shinto all the way in the base, all by himself. And there's no shot he kills Neil here. But here's the deal, Dave. It doesn't matter if he's got no shot to kill that Sobek, because he and the rest of the Leviathans can go wherever they damn well please.
Oh, look, there's 20 seconds on the nearest.
No Apple quite yet, though, Dave. I agree that he wants it, but doesn't have it available to him.
Doesn't have it.
It has 30% CDR, so it won't be long until it's back up, but he doesn't have it now.
Whoa, Panatom takes a lot of damage here. Yarkor, Wrongyu, same for them. Julio on the left-hand side of this fight, whirling away onto Neomon. Brutalize connects onto Julio, but a defensive Riptide for once for Wrongyu. Keeps his solo laner in the fight. Remember in Game 1? Saw a decent defense from the Oni Warriors around their Phoenix. Maybe more of the same.
This is a good idea here from the Leviathans. They have so much sustain courtesy of the Emoji, they might as well.
Neil here on the left-hand side. Nika is in as well onto the Somersault Cloud. Cuvo Fred's alone on the left-hand side of the map here. So it's a 5v4 for the time being. Yarkor whittling away the health bar of this Phoenix, and it's a stun onto Neil, and Shinto rampaging now in game number 2. The rest of the Leviathans as well. Now the gates have been opened. Vote with the Aegis, the beads, and the ultimate stays alive, but he doesn't have much more. No more wind.
You make your life significantly easier, but he's going to likely be able to get a lot of his damage off before he falls. And if he does even that, that's likely enough to win the fight.
Neoma first in, it's the blink, but how many times have we seen this? The River's Rebuke, inch perfect from Wrongyu, and it is once more. Neoma down, 0-5. for the Sobek vote. No HP to be seen. Nika extends his life just a little longer, but the Leviathans finishing off this game with what looks like will be a deicide. Leviathans in 31 minutes take the set.
And that fight couldn't have been any easier, and you know why? It's because of Wrong Hughes Umoja, man. Enough is enough. The man did too much. This game was the Wrong Hughes show. Panatom did great work. Shinto, of course, came into the late game and absolutely dominated every single team fight with his damage and his positioning. But the reason that the Leviathans get so far ahead and make it look so easy is because Wrong Hughes went absolutely off on that Umoja pick.
Yeah, 32,000 damage, nothing to scoff at from Shinto either. And let's not forget where this early game started. Panatom on the Susano all over the place, right through those first 3 kills of this game. Slowed down a little bit, but just felt like Cuvo Fred couldn't match the pace of the Leviathan jungler today.
No, and that's really been the problem for the Warriors. That mid 3v3 core has yet to really gel, I think, between Fred's struggles and Dardez not looking like himself. Again, we understand their situation.